of Midway was the crucial naval battle in the Pacific theater during World War II, and it took place from the 4th through the 7th of June of 1942, 6 months after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor and 1 month after the Battle of the Coral Sea. The U.S. Navy was under Admirals Chester W. Nimitz, Frank Fletcher, and Raymond Spruance, and they defeated an attacking fleet of the Imperial Japanese Navy, who were under Admirals Isoroku Yamamoto, Chuichi Nagumo, and Nobutake Kondo. The battle occurring north of Midway Atoll. By April of 42, Japan was needing another decisive victory over the United States that would match the destructive force of the raid on Pearl Harbor. Now, U.S. bombers launched from seaborne carriers were beginning to attack the Japanese home island, and if the carriers could be eliminated, Japan could deal with the threat of the bombers. Admiral Yamamoto realized the risks of once more attacking Pearl Harbor, which was now powerfully reinforced with land-based air power. Instead, he chose Midway Atoll, 1,300 miles northwest of Hawaii. He felt that the U.S. would see Midway as an important asset, yet it was also out of the range of Hawaii's air bases. And by attacking Midway, Yamamoto hoped to lure the American carriers into an ambush, with the destruction of the U.S. fleet clearing the way for the expansion of Japanese military influence in the Pacific. Yamamoto's plan was to send his carriers in first, allowing them to weaken the American ships, and he would then follow up with his assorted cruisers and battleships and break up any remnants of the U.S. Navy. Unfortunately for him, though, the U.S. had broken part of the Japanese code and was preparing a counterattack based on this intelligence gathering. Now, the Japanese knew that Admiral Nimitz had two carriers in action, the Enterprise and the Hornet. What they didn't know was that the Yorktown, which had been badly damaged in the Battle of the Coral Sea, was quickly being repaired at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. Their workers were working around the clock to get it battle ready, and did so in only 72 hours. By June the 4th, the sleepy base of Midway was buzzing with 126 Navy and Marine aircraft. So early on June 4th, the Japanese carrier group was down here about 200 miles from the island of Midway. They were also about 200 miles from the American carrier group. Now, the American carrier group was aware of the Japanese, but the Japanese were not quite aware of the Americans just yet. Then at 0430, Admiral Nagumo will give the command to launch the planes from the Akagi, the Soryu, the Hiryu, and the Kaga. The wave will begin with 108 aircraft taking off to Midway. In the front will be the Zero fighters. This will be followed by the Aichi D-3A Vals, which are some bombers, and then finally the Nakajima B-5N5 Kate bombers. Now from 0616 to 0643, the Japanese will raid Midway, and they're going to inflict some fairly heavy damage on some oil tanks on the island as well as some hangars. However, a lot of the fighter aircraft defending the island will get in the air. A lot of these are the older Brewster Buffaloes, but they will put up a surprisingly good fight despite their age. At 0700, about 220 miles away, the Hornet, the Enterprise, and the Yorktown will launch a wave of aircraft to meet the Japanese fleet. Now, these squadrons of aircraft will contain the Dauntless dive bombers, which will perform fairly well during the battle, but unfortunately they'll also contain a lot of these Devastator torpedo bombers. And the Devastators were way too slow, they were way outmoded, and they performed very poorly at the battle. In fact, of the 41 Devastators launched from the three ships, only 4 would make it back intact, and they were basically just sitting ducks for the Japanese. Now at 0840, Nagumo ran into his first big problem. These dive bombers were coming back, and they were prepared for another wave to attack on Midway, so the decks here were loaded up with bombs and with gasoline hoses. The problem was they just heard word that the American carrier group had been sighted up to the northeast, and they realized they were going to need to change the bombs out for torpedoes. And so he was having these guys come in, and yet he also heard that the carriers were over here. So he decided to turn and head to the north. Get over there. Now at 9:20, the American air group reached where they thought the Japanese carriers would be. However, the Japanese carriers, of course, had already moved off to the north and the east. So they were missing them, so they decided to split into 2 groups, and one would go to the north and the west, and the other would go back towards Midway to try to search for the carriers. So half of them headed off towards Midway, while the other half ran towards the carriers. So this half missed the battle completely. However, it did have one fortunate effect. It drew off several squadrons of Zero fighters that had been patrolling the area around the carriers, leaving the carriers unguarded. Now, the battle was decided in less than the time that it takes to play one round of this game. From 1020 to 1025, the Kaga was hit with 4 bombs, the Akagi was hit with 2 bombs, and the Soryu was hit with 3 bombs. Unfortunately, none of the torpedoes made it to the ships or did any damage. Now, only the Hiryu was left unscathed, and it continued on to try to engage with the carriers to the north. So at 1104 and 1331, the Hiryu would launch 2 waves that were targeted to the Yorktown. They reached the Yorktown at 1200 and 1430 respectively, and they left her badly damaged. And efforts were made to save the Yorktown, but unfortunately she'd taken too much damage, and she was scuttled 2 days later. Late in the afternoon, aware of the Hiryu's presence, the Enterprise launched several squadrons of SPD bombers to try to sink the Hiryu. And at 1700 they attacked, quickly damaging the Hiryu beyond repair. That evening, as the Enterprise and the Hornet steamed off, the Kaga and the Soryu sank. And the next morning, the Hiryu and the Akagi sank. So in just about 15 minutes, the war had drastically changed against the Japanese. In addition, the Japanese lost 332 aircraft and more than 2,000 men, many of them being the core of their experienced naval pilots. The U.S. lost 137 planes, and only 370 airmen and sailors were killed. Ultimately, the Battle of Midway, along with the Guadalcanal campaign, are widely considered to be the turning point in the Pacific War. Now, Midway was published in 1964 by the Avalon Hill Game Company, and it was designed by Larry Pinsky and Lindsley Schutz. And for as simple a game as it is, it actually has quite a bit of strategy to it, which is why it's probably still played quite a bit these days. Components are fairly simple. There are 3 boards used in the game. There's a search board for both the Japanese and the American players, and this represents kind of a broad swath of the Pacific around Midway. And then there's also a single battle board, where each individual naval battle is played out. Now, the search boards are used much like the boards in the game of Battleship, and they're screened from other players, so you have a little screen between both players. It's important to note that the search boards are divided into larger area blocks, such as A1, B3, etc., and also smaller zone blocks, such as the letter D block in area B3. And it's important to know the difference between areas and zones. Each ship in the game has 2 different counters. The small square counter with the ship silhouettes are used on the search boards, while the large rectangular counters with the top-down view of the ship are used on the battle board. And the search board counters also include counters to show which areas are being searched, and the ship type counters, which have the general hull classification of the vessel that has been located. These include BB for battleships, CV, those are the aircraft carriers, CVL, which are the light aircraft carriers, CA, which are heavy cruisers, and then CL, which are light cruisers. And if you get into any sort of World War II naval gaming, you'll learn these abbreviations pretty quickly. The battleboard vessel counters contain 2 numbers, and the first is the surface combat factor, which is the vessel's strength in surface combat with other ships. The second number is the screening number, which represents the combat value of the ship when it's defending from enemy aircraft. So it's ships, aircraft. There are 3 types of small aircraft units used in the game. There are the dive bombers with the D, the torpedo bombers with the T, and the fighters with the F. And each of these units has an attack strength, which is used when you're fighting enemy ships and aircraft. Carriers have a set number of aircraft combat factors that they can hold, and the planes can move from ship to ship. However, carriers can never hold more planes than their total number of combat factors allowed, though they can exceed the combat factors of specific type of planes. The game also includes some hit record pads to keep track of damage to vessels, and a combat results chart. To set the game up, on the aircraft carrier complement sheet, you place the appropriate number of attack factors of dive and torpedo bombers, as well as the fighter counters. And you can make change with any of the attack factors of air units. For example, a 5 attack factor unit could be broken into a 3 factor unit and a 2 attack factor unit. The Japanese player places their ships arriving at 0500 on June the 4th in any of the shaded zones along their left-hand edge of the map, and the U.S. player places all their ships in any of the shaded zones along the right-hand edge of the board. Ships can be placed as desired, with spaces left empty or any number of ships placed in a single space. Now, each turn begins with a search board procedure, and there are 4 steps to it: movement, readying, searching, and operations. So for step 1, the Japanese player moves all, some, or none of their ships 2 zones on the first turn and all subsequent turns. The U.S. player is a little different. They move all, some, or none of their ships 6 zones on the first turn, but then they go to the 2-zone movement all subsequent turns. Ships don't have to move their maximum turn rate, and they can move in any direction they like, and there's no difference between vertical, horizontal, or diagonal movement. In the second step, after moving, each player decides if they are readying their planes for takeoff, and this means they are arming, fueling, and preparing the planes for attacks on the next turn. Now this is noted on the hit record sheet, and the opponent must be informed that a specific carrier is readying its aircraft. In other words, you would tell the Japanese component, I'm readying the aircraft on the Enterprise. Once aircraft are readied, they remain in a ready state for all future turns. However, carriers with readied aircraft have one less hit point than those with the de-readied planes, due to the amount of fuel on the flight deck. And a player can choose to de-ready planes and remove the hit point loss on the appropriate carrier. However, if the carrier chooses to launch planes, they have to repeat this whole readying procedure. In the third step, the U.S. player now searches out areas where they hope to find the Japanese. Now they can call out 4 specific areas each turn, and they call them out one at a time. The Japanese player then indicates if ships are in the areas called out and shares the exact zones of the area where the ships are located in, or indicates that no Japanese ships are in the area. While they do not have to share the names of the ships, they do have to share the hull classification types of any ship sighted. And this is where the game's a lot like Battleship. The Japanese player then performs the same action, however, they can only search areas that are up to 12 zones away from any ship, and they're limited to searching any areas that the Japanese ships occupy and 3 additional areas rather than the U.S. Navy's 4. Then each player has the option of indicating that they're launching air attacks against enemy units. Of course, they don't have to do this in a turn. They can wait for a later turn. Any number of carriers available aircraft can be launched against an enemy, and aircraft from a single carrier can be ordered to attack multiple stacks of ships. Also, the aircraft from more than one carrier can attack a single stack of enemy units. And any combination of aircraft can be launched as long as the carrier has them available. All aircraft are limited to 1 attack per turn, and attacks are always optional. Now, aircraft have a total range of 14 squares. Thus, they'll usually make a 7-square flight to and from a stack of enemy units. However, aircraft are also free to take off from one carrier, make an attack, and return to another friendly carrier or Midway Island. And thus, they could do something like fly out 10 squares, attack an enemy, and then fly to a friendly carrier 4 squares away. Now, since combat is simultaneous, players should write out simple orders for where their attacks are launched from, and how many aircraft of each type are involved, and to where they're being targeted. Players can't launch attacks on ships that would require more than 14 squares of flight time. Thus, suicide missions are not allowed in this game. And the closest thing to a historical suicide mission in the Battle of Midway was the U.S. Navy's use of the outmoded Douglas Devastators. Now, when attacks are being declared, move the appropriate air units from the carrier complement box to the target area of the search box, and I just place them in adjacent squares to indicate they're making an attack. During night turns, players can move freely and they can search areas. However, they can't make any sort of air or sea attack on enemy units. Now, once an attack has been indicated, you'll move to the battle board. And each individual battle is resolved in any order that the players desire. However, all such attacks are considered to be resolved simultaneously. And in most attacks, the players with aircraft are considered to be the attacker, and the players with the ships are considered to be the defender. Now I divide the battle board procedures into 8 segments. The first is the defender places their ships, and then the attacker places their aircraft. Third, the defender places any fighters, and then you resolve any fighter-to-fighter combat. Fifth, the defender determines combat odds for specific battles. Sixth, you roll the d6 and you consult the combat results table. Then you remove the sunken ships and you place attacking aircraft back on the search board. And after all the combats are resolved, you move the attacking aircraft back to any friendly carriers within range. Let's go through those in a little more detail. So as I said above, the defender places the large rectangular ship counters on the battle board, and they can place the ships anywhere they like, but the ships can never be in a rectangle adjacent to another friendly ship. That is, they must be at least one rectangle away. The attacker then places all of their aircraft on the board, indicating where they wish to attack, and dive bombing counters are placed directly on a specific ship that's being attacked, while torpedo bombers are placed at either the port or starboard side of the ship that is being attacked, and the fighters are placed on the board, and I place those over at the side of the fleet of ships. The defender then places any fighter aircraft that they wish on the board, and they must initially place fighters next to the attacker's fighters. They do this until there is at least an equal number of defender fighters and attacker fighters. And then they have the option of continuing to add fighters to increase their odds of fighter-to-fighter combat, or you can place additional fighters on any of the ships to increase the defensive odds of that specific ship. Now, the ratio of attacker to defender fighter combat factors is determined. You round down in favor of the side with the lowest number of units, and you roll a d6. You then consult the combat results table, and the number of attacking and defending combat factors is removed. Now, this game is interesting because the defender determines the combat odds, and they do this by stating which of their ships are firing at the various groups of attacking planes. Now, a ship's screening value represents the strength of the anti-aircraft fire that can be directed at a group of enemy planes. And the range for screening fire is up to 2 rectangles away, and this can be vertical, horizontal, or even diagonal. Fighter aircraft add their combat value to the screening value of the ships if they're stacked on top of that specific ship. You then determine your battle odds, you round down in favor of the defender, and you roll a d6. Go to the combat results table, and then apply the combat results table results by reducing the attacking aircraft and marking ship damage on your hit record sheet. Now, if a ship has all of its strength points removed, it's sunk, and sunk ships are removed from the game on both the battle board and the search board. Now, if an aircraft carrier is sunk with any planes on board, those planes are also lost. Attacking aircraft are moved back to the point of attack on the search board, and then this process is repeated with any other aircraft ship engagements. And then at the end of all the engagements, the players return their aircraft counters to any aircraft carriers or Midway Island for the U.S. player that's still afloat within range. And if no carriers or Midway are not in range, the aircraft are lost and they're removed from the game. The attacking player also tells the defending player which zones the planes came from and to which zones they're going. You then check off a turn and you move on to the next. Another option for combat in this game is surface combat or ship-to-ship combat. And if opposing ships exist in the same zone, you first resolve all the air attacks for each side, and remember, these are simultaneously, and then you can play all the ships on the battle board, with the Japanese on one side and the Americans on the other. Now, each player places all of their ships in that specific zone on each side of the battle board nearest them. The Imperial Japanese Navy player can then move any or all ships up to 1 rectangle, and then the U.S. Navy player does the same. The Imperial Japanese player then can fire on ships within range, and battleships have a range of 4 rectangles, and all of their ships have a range of 3. And no ship can fire more than once per turn. Then odds are obtained by comparing surface combat factors, not screening factors, and a die is rolled and the result is obtained from the surface combat table. All hits are then recorded on the hit record simultaneously after the end of both players' movement/fire turn. And there are only 2 ways to disengage from surface combat. You can either sink all the enemy ships, or you can voluntarily withdraw. And if your player wishes to withdraw, they roll a d6 on their movement turn, and on a 5 or 6, they're successfully able to withdraw from the battle. Now, surface combat can last up to a total of 4 rounds on the battle board. And after this point, a turn is marked off on the time record, and normal play returns to the search board. Ships engaged in surface combat still cannot move in the next turn, and they will still remain engaged in surface combat in the next round. However, air attacks can still be fought against these ships, and additional vessels can be brought in to join the battle. Now, both players get points for controlling Midway, and starting at 0500 on June 5th, the U.S. player gets 1 point for each turn in which Midway Island is not taken by the Japanese player. And when the U.S. player loses Midway, they lose their full board search, and they can only search within 12 zones of one of their ships from that point on. When the Japanese player takes Midway, they do not gain full board search, but they still maintain their 12-zone search. Now, the aircraft capacity in Midway for the U.S. player is 30 squadrons, with a squadron equaling an attack factor. And when the Japanese player takes Midway, they cannot locate planes on the island. This is because the destruction of the landing strips on the island would have been too great for them to restore in the time limit of the game. Now, in order to capture Midway, the Japanese player has to place the Krugo Atago on the Midway Island zone for 4 consecutive turns. And if the Atago's sunk, the transports are considered sunk, and the Japanese can never capture Midway during the game. When Midway falls, the Japanese player immediately receives 15 points, and all the U.S. planes on the island are considered eliminated. Now, Midway has a fortification strength of 20, which have to be eliminated by the Japanese player. in order for them to claim the island. And the Japanese player softens up Midway's defenses by making air and sea attacks against it. To determine the results of an air attack, you add together the number of attack factors of Japanese bombers, and you subtract the attack factors of any American fighters stationed on Midway. You determine combat odds, rounding down in favor of the defender, and you roll on the Midway reduction combat results table. You remove the numbered combat factors first from the air units stationed on Midway, and then from the 20 points that Midway has itself. So remember, remove from the aircraft, and then remove from the inherent points of Midway. Battleships can also reduce the fortifications of Midway by 1 point per battleship per turn. Now, once Midway is reduced to 0 combat factors, and the Otago is in the same zone as the island, then the Japanese can make a land-based assault on the island. Now, this takes 4 consecutive turns, after which the island is now in Japanese hand. And if the Otago is destroyed during this time, then the invasion of Midway fails. Also note that if Midway falls, the Americans cannot retake it during the game. Now, victory goes to the player that has accumulated the most points when the game ends. And if both sides have the same number of points, then the game's a draw. And players accumulate points in 2 ways. By taking Midway, as I've kind of mentioned before. And again, remember, starting on the 0500 on the 5th, the American player receives a point per turn for avoiding Japanese control. And if the Japanese player controls Midway, they get 15 points. If they capture it by the end of the game at 1700 on June the 6th. Also, both players receive the number of victory points indicated on the hit record sheet for all enemy ships that they've sunk. And if a ship is damaged but not sunk by the end of the game, the enemy player does not get points for that. That's pretty much it. Like I say, it's a really simple game. Let's go ahead and set it up and run through a quick game. Okay, so I've got the game set up here, and if you want to play along with Vassal, I can wait while you load it up.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to...
Okay. Now, this is a terrible game for playing solitaire, so you'll have to just kind of bear with me. We're just going to pretend that the other one side doesn't know what the other one's doing. And moves in this game are pretty much simultaneously, so we'll just go ahead and start with the Japanese player. And I'm going to place my units on the board here now. We started, let me pull up the time record, and we're starting at the 0500 on June 3rd. So we can move all these units in, and we can put them anywhere in this red line that there is on the row A. Now, I think I'm going to split my carriers out a little bit, and I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to stick around for until 1500 on June 3rd, when I can get these additional units in to kind of screen my carriers. So I'll probably stick around to this A or B row. But let's go ahead and just get everybody kind of assigned out here. I'm not a great player at this game. I'm sure many of you are watching this are probably going, God, what is he doing? So just bear with me, I think. So I got my 4 carriers here, and I'm going to screen them. I think I'll screen the Hiryu with the Krishna battleship. The Tone I'll go here. And I think I'll just go ahead and use 2 here. Okay, then I'm going to split them up. I'm going to split them fairly wide here. 2, 3, and let's go down here, 4. This row, yep, that's 7. So, okay, then these guys can move 2. And I will go ahead and just move them all too. So I'm just going to kind of, like I say, going to kind of wait around row A or B, killing time. When these come in, I think I'll try to make a mad dash to get Midway opened up. Okay, then the U.S. Navy's going to try to go. And with them, I have 1 less carrier. So we got the Hornet, the Enterprise, and the Yorktown here. But all ships are in, and I think I'll just go ahead and I will put this one, I'll just put 1 with each, 2 with each, and then I'll move the Atlanta there. Okay. And these guys can move 6 during the first turn, so 1, 2, I guess I'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are going to try to basically get into range. The U.S. is going to try to get into the range of the Japanese Navy as quickly as possible and sink some of those carriers. 5 and 6. Maybe that'll make the game go fast. Okay. That is it. Now, during these first couple turns, the Japanese aren't going to be able to find anybody. Nobody's within range of the 12 squares. But since the U.S. Navy can go across all of them, they can look across all the squares. I'm going to go ahead and search, and we will just, let's just go 1. I want to pretend I don't know what's going on, so let's just try to make it kind of random here. Okay. So then the Japanese, then we'd be playing Battleship here, where the U.S. would be calling out squares. So we're going to start with A1, and yeah, we find out that the Soryu and the Haruna are there, so a CV and a BB. CV and a BB. So we've already discovered one, and that goes in square F. Is that a zone, I think? Okay. Then we look at A2, nothing there, so this we call the search off there. Hope you guys can see this okay. A5, and we know there's a CA, CA, and CV. Okay, CA, let's just clone this a little bit. CA, CA, and there's a carrier there. And we will put that down in F, and we will move this search out, and then this search out. Okay. I think that is, and that, believe it or not, is it for that first turn of the game. Go to your time record sheet, increase, and we will call that turn 1. Okay, turn 2 is going to go the same way. This time I think what we're going to do is, as the Japanese, is try to see if we can fool our friends here. So we're going to go here, and here, and here, and here. Okay. And then these guys are going to move forward again. Oh, and there. And then the U.S. is going to search. Now, let's just say the U.S. thinks, I think he's going to move. He thinks he's going to steam straight ahead. So he's going straight towards Midway. So we're going to pull a search. Let's get our little search guys here. We're going to think that the Japanese would search 1, 2. We're here. And then we'll do another search here, and here, and here. Okay. So we're looking in row B. And sure enough, we figure out that the Soryu and the Haruna, or actually we think it's a carrier and a battleship, are moving here. And we were right. Can't get anything past Admiral Nimitz there. I can't talk tonight. Okay. Down here in B4, we got 2. We got the CL and a CV. So let's clone some more of these guys. And also, this game is much better on the table than on Vassal, I think. This is one where it's actually fun to just play it head to head, so. But this is what we got. Vassal makes it awfully easy to produce videos, so that's a big thing. And then over here at H, we had a CA, 2 CAs and a CV. Okay. Increase, and I just use their whole designations. I'm not a naval warfare expert, so I still have to go, what is CV, what is CA? Which one's a destroyer, which one's a battleship? Well, BB is easy from battleship, but using CV for carriers is still a little bit hard for me, but okay. Now then, can the Japanese, let's see what they could figure out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or this has the amazing ability to show search range here. So H, this line here, H, F, H, F, H right there. So it's just out of, the Americans are just out of search range. So again, whoever did the Vassal on this module did a great job. Okay, that is it. I think we figure these guys we have lost track of, so we'll pop them out. And let's see, these guys. This also shows you your aircraft range. Now, they could do it. Actually, they can't. The one thing about this is, remember, aircraft range is 7 squares. So this shows the 14 squares. And basically, the Navy isn't going to send anybody out on a suicide mission. Like I said, they already kind of did that with the Devastators. But okay, end of round. This is pull up round 2. Increase. And then we will pull into round 3. I'm going to stay put. 2, 1, 2. Since we found out where we were, we'll just pull back. And the Navy will steam ahead. The U.S. Navy will... There they go. Okay. Let's see. Show search box. Navy's still out of range. Basically, E would be the edge of the search box there. Whoops. The one downside of this is I can never remember who has the search range. There. Okay, get rid of those guys. Where am I going to search? Pull these guys over. And again, I'm going to think they're going to go 1, 2. I'm going to think he's going to go 1, 2. He'll be in that area. I'm going to go here. Where's my other guy? I lost him. Did he go over here? Nope. Somehow that just deleted that guy. Well, we'll just clone him. Okay. So we're going to say we're going to search C, the C column. And if you go over here, there's nobody in the C column. So all of these searches fail. If I can stack these, can I stack these? Okay, move these guys back. And I will take these guys off the board. Now I realize the Navy's going, why did these guys go? They went backwards. So, okay. Nobody moved there, nobody moved there. We go to the next round. These first day's rounds go really fast. Okay, that's round 3. And we're going into round 4. 2 and 1, 2. Okay, we're going to go there. These guys are going to steam on ahead. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So the U.S. said, well, they're not here. Maybe they're back 1. I think what we'll do is we'll do a... pull those 4 zig search guys out. Okay, where could they be? So we knew they weren't here. They probably went back. So we're going to say, we're just going to make a little zigzag here. Okay, so we know nobody's in A. B, 3B. 3B, yep. Okay, so we again found the Soryu and that battleship. And we know they're back here. I'm just going to pull these searches over here. And then we went back one, nothing there. And then down here in... That was 5. Okay, 5. Yep, we found those guys. So we found CA, CACV. Where's that stack that I had? I think they were right here. Okay. Now, knowing that, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are out of air range. And the Japanese, let's see, they could go 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. F, B. Hey, these guys are in range. So we can start searching for the Japanese. And we're going to just say F. We're going to go E. And so we're going to go with F3, 4, and 5. And we get nothing because these guys have already steamed on through. Okay. Again, that's the end of the round. And we will go into the 1300 round. So that is round 5. Okay, we're now in turn 5 here. And I think, let's see. So the Americans have discovered these guys. And I think they're going to see maybe... I think, again, we'll keep searching in this area. Let's do the Japanese first here. So the Japanese are going to move. I'm going to move, let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to keep moving around here to try to... Actually, 1, 2. Let's go here. And 1, 2. Okay. And we're going to search. Show search range to the edge of E. Okay. We're going to go. We think they're in here. I think we'll still do this box, and this box. Okay. And then the U.S. is going to think, I think this guy's going to move south here. So we're going to search here. We will search here. We'll search here. And we will search down here. Okay, let's see. So, and these guys get a move. 1, 2. 1, 2, and 1, 2. So they're now in box D. So basically all of the Japanese... things are for naught. So they're going to try next turn. Next turn we're going to check row D. Over here, none of these guys were here, so I'm just going to move these up here out of the way. And so basically the searching that turn was pretty futile. Pull these over here. Okay. And that is the end of this turn. Okay. Now the Japanese have, in the next turn, they're going to have some help coming in. And I think we'll go here, and here, and here, and here. And then these guys will join up, join up, join up, join up. There, we have a few more screening boats. Now the Tago still isn't coming until 0500. But I think we'll go ahead and try to... These other guys will stay put. And we are going to check out road D. We'll try here, here, and here. And then let's go here, and here, and here, and here. And again, we're just trying to are we going to move to? 2, 2, and 2. Okay. So starting with A, let's just do the US search here. A3. Move these out of the way. A3, nobody. Okay. And then B4. B4, nobody. 5. A5. Yes, okay. And so at A5, we have a force. A5F. And it's a 3 CAs and a CV. Okay, so we need to clone this guy. And we will put these guys back here. And then this last search down here didn't show anything. Okay. Japanese will do their search. And they're searching in row D, which is going to be fruitful. And D3, they found CV, 2 CAs, and a CL. So they found, let's clone this guy. And what were they? These were in D, 3D, D, 3DD, okay. And then 3D, or 4D, we found CV and 2 CAs. Let's clone this guy off. Clone, increase, and clone. Okay. And they did their search, and then the CA. So basically, the Japanese found the entire American Navy. Let's see. Let's clone another one. And get in there, and then CA, 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 CV. Okay. There, I think I got everybody. Okay, the search was fruitful. And so basically, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can, all 3 of these guys can hit right here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to be a big turn. I'm going to let everybody go nuts. So we'll start with the Soryu. And I'm going to pull up their carrier complement. Come here, carrier complement. And the Soryu is going to do, let's see. The Soryu is going to fly everything they have to, what do I do with my, aha, here we go. And I just put them on the board right here to show that these guys are doing that. Okay. And then the, let's see, this one's got the Kaga. And the Kaga is going to go to the middle one. Okay. And then down here, the Akagi is going to go to the southern one. And this, let's see. Oh, we don't want to, okay, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is, this was the Akagi, right? Yeah. I'm going to keep the Akagi's fighters there in place for protection. And then over here, the Suzuya, or not the Suzuya, this is the Hiryu, is going to fly their complement of fighters over here. And that's going to be it for the Japanese flights. They're just going to, like I say, I'm just throwing everybody in. You might want to try to keep some back, but we're going to go crazy. And then the Americans are going to, I'm going to keep everything back on the Enterprise, but I'm going to send everything from the Yorktown on the Hornet here. We're going to try to take that out. Okay, so Midway complement. So the Hornet will go here, and I'll take all the Hornet's fighters and put there. No, I won't. I'll leave half of them. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Okay, we're going to keep 5 on the Hornet. And then the Yorktown, nothing's in Midway range. So the Yorktown will go here. Again, I'll put 4 there, and I'll put all there. There. Okay. That's it. This is going to be a crazy round. About probably half the fighting in the game will be done in this round. So let's start with the battle board, and we'll just work our way through. And I am going to pause here and get these arranged a little bit. I will be right back. Okay, I got everything arranged on the battle board, but then it just hit me. I forgot to ready my planes. So in the previous turn, I should have readied the planes on the Japanese ships, the 4 Japanese carriers, and then on the Enterprise. Or not on the Enterprise, on the two, the Yorktown and the Hornet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say on going back to turn 4, let's see, let's pull up our hit record. There it is. Here it is. And then I'm going to say add operations. We're going to ready the Hornet and the Yorktown. Now, since we readied them, that means that they have all that gasoline and bombs and stuff sitting on the flight decks, so they lose a point. And then for the Japanese, we readied all 4. So I'm just going to say now, I don't know if fighters have to be readied or not. I don't remember from the rules whether they said they did. So I'm going to assume that you can go ahead and keep the fighters, that you can, like the Enterprise, if they don't ready themselves, can they use their fighters if they're attacked by the Japanese? I'm going to say yes, they can. But if you know differently or think you know differently, go ahead and let me know down below. So, okay. There we go. That's going to hurt the Soryu and the Hiryu. Oh, I've realized the Akagi and the Kaga are actually the toughest 2 carriers by far. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So we will say then that was in round 4. We're in turn 4. We are now in turn 5. When this all attack occurred. And I'm going to say in turn 5 that we readied the ready Enterprise. Okay. So now the Enterprise is increased. Okay, there we go. So basically that's not gonna change things a huge amount, but let's go ahead and let's run this we're going to go ahead and run this combat first. I'll just so let's move all of these over here. And then the Akagi is going to be our ship, our carrier. And let's see, where are you, Akagi? There you are. So we'll move these down. Now I'm going to screen here, here, and here. Okay. And the Akagi carrier complement is these fighters. So we'll pull those over to the side. And let's see, where am I going to... I guess I can use these here. And then we're going to go ahead and assign... We've got to have at least 8... There's 8 fighters that accomplished or accompanied the Navy, the U.S. Navy troops. So these guys are going to use all their fighters to have to meet those guys. Now, where are we going to... We are going to hit the Akagi as hard as we can. Our goal is to take down... This is actually probably going to be it for all 3 of these, or all 4 of these ships. We need at least 5 to 1. I think if you get better than 4 to 1 odds, it's automatically sunk. So let's check our chart here. Yeah, 5 to 1 odds. Okay. So we are going to try to hit this guy with, there's 3. So we need at least 15. 6, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And then we'll dive bomb here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll come here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1. Okay, now then, the defenders get to, first we've got to start with the fighters. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 to 8. So 1 to 2 odds. And we'll pull our chart up here. And we go to a fighter versus fighter. 1 to 2. We roll. And we roll a 1. Okay. So 1 to 2, 1. Lose 3 defenders. Lose 3 attackers. Okay. Easy enough. And then this we can decrease. Okay, so we pull these aside. Those guys survived. These guys are gone. And this guy's survived. Okay, then now we got to figure out, the Japanese are going to try to figure out how they're going to screen here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to screen with this guy here with 3, and this one. And that's 6, 15. Okay, I think, yeah, we'll screen with this one and this one. So that's 6. So it's 15 to 6 is going to be 2 to 1 odds. So it's these dive bombers. And then this ship and this ship. Okay, so we go ahead and roll, let's see, 2 to 1 odds. We die roll of 1, and we use 1 hit and lose 2 squads. Okay. 2 squads are lost. And the Akagi takes a hit. Increase. Okay. So now these dive bombers have done their thing. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll do 3-to-1 here. Because now they've used all that screening, so now they're just screen at 1. So we have 3-to-1 odds. And we go back to our chart. And we roll a 3-to-1 at 1. 2 hits and lose 3 squadrons, okay? So the Akagi's going to take 2 more hits. It made it through. And we lost, I said 3 squadrons, so... Oops. It's easy to hit that clone button, which does just the opposite of what you wanted. Okay. And then we're going to go over here, and we've got 4-to-1 odds, because this guy's already used his thing. So 4-to-1. We roll a 6. 6 hits, lose 1 squadron. Okay. This guy's lost. And then we can take these guys off. I guess we can stack these guys up a little bit. And the Chikuma took 4 hits. Okay, so we go to the hit record. Chikuma is right here, and increase, increase, increase. Well, we can say goodbye to the Chikuma. So send the Chikuma to the sunk box, and over here we'll send it to the sunk box. Okay. I'm going to try to dive bomb this at 1-to-2 odds, and then I'll do the 3-to-1 over here. So on the Makuma, I'm diving at 1-to-2 odds. And I get a 4. And a 1-to-2 at a 4 is 1 hit, lose 3 squadrons. That's not too bad. I just lost 1 and only lose 1, but I got a hit. So the Makuma takes a hit. Makuma, okay, increase. And then I'm going to do 3-to-1. And I roll a 3 at 3-to-1. 3-to-1, 1, 2, 3. 3 hits, lose 3 squadrons. This is tough on planes. I guess these are those Devastators, which are getting... And then 3 hits to the Makuma. Makuma, so that's enough to send the Makuma to the bottom. And okay, the Tone. Tone has 4 dive bombers, so 4-to-2, so 2-to-1, and we roll a 5. 2-to-1 with a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 hits, lose 4 squadrons. Okay. That was on the dive bombers. That's all of them. Delete. And the Tone took 2 hits. The Tone. Increase, increase. Okay, it looks like the Tone is going down too. Okay, then we have a 4-to-1 because he's already defended. And a 4-to-1 with a 5. 4-to-1 with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, lose 6 hits. Well, easily. Delete. Delete. And send the Tone to the sunk box. Okay, increase. And let's see, where's our carrier complement? Search board. Get rid of that. Search board. There we go. And the Tone is sunk. Leaving the Akagi all by its lonesome self out there. These guys can fly home. And so we will move these guys here. And here. And here. And here. There we go. Okay, so that was it for the first one. The Akagi gets their guy back here. They get a fighter back. Ah, where'd you go? Too many. This has too many boxes here. This is crazy. There we go. Okay. And then we can send the Akagi back up here. Now then. Now we're going to go against these guys. And that was the Atlanta group. Right? Yeah, Atlanta Enterprise Group. Okay. Battle board. Battle board. Battle board. Here we go. Okay, the Atlanta group is down here. Enterprise. Okay, so the Enterprise we'll put here. We'll screen with the Atlanta, the Northampton, and the Minneapolis. And then the okay, who are we going to go after? Again, we're going to try to sink the Enterprise here. 3, 4, okay. Oh, let's see. What's the Enterprise's fighter complement look like? Okay, they're going to launch their fighters. So we'll put a fighter battle here, here, and okay. Let's see. I had 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just do 4 and 3. Okay. Let's start with the fighter battle. Get it out of the way first here. So the Enterprise has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters. And the Japanese have 7. So the Japanese are going to... we're going to go ahead and roll with a 1 to 2. We get a 1. Lose 3 defenders, lose 3 attackers. Okay. 1, just like the previous round. Delete. 1, 2, 3, and delete. Okay. I should have used one of those fighters to defend the ships with. Oh well. Okay, Enterprise. We have 4, 5, 6, 7 against 3. And I'm going to say everybody screens. So 3 and 6 and 3, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the Japanese have 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 to 3 odds. Not good. Okay. Die rolls a 2 at 1 to 3. A miss and lose 3 squads. Okay. That didn't go so well. Okay, and then these 3 are going to go at 3 to 1 odds because we've already used the defensive screening. 3 to 1, 1. 2 hits, lose 3 squads. Delete, and then the Northampton takes 2 hits. Let's see, there's that. And then our Northampton increase. Okay. And then 4 to 1 odds. We roll a 6 at 4 to 1. Should have gone for 5 to 1. 6 at 4 to 1. 6 hits, lose 1 squad. Okay, so we're going to decrease this guy down, and 6 hits on the Atlanta. I think that'll sink the Atlanta. Yep, easily. Boy, it would have been better to get that on that carrier. Okay, so the Atlanta goes to the bottom. And search board. Come on, search board. Where are you at? And we will send that to the sunk box. And that is it for that. That combat. Let's see. Fighters go back to the Enterprise. And move these ships over to the side. Keep them together. And then this guy, and this guy, and this guy I'll go. And we'll put those back over here. Okay, next is the these guys. And they are going against these 3 ships. And those 3 ships are, go to our search board, the Astoria, Yorktown, and Vincennes. Okay, so we need to move these guys into place. The Astoria, the Yorktown, and the Vincennes. Okay, and does the Yorktown have any fighters? Yeah, they do. Okay. Bring those fighters in. And Japanese fighters are here. Okay, so how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fighters here versus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1 to 1. And then let's see. Let's try to hit. Again, I'm going to try to hit the Yorktown with everything I've got. And there we go. Okay, so we figure out the fighters are going to have 1-to-1 odds. And we get a 6 with 1-to-1. Lose 3 defenders, lose 6 attackers. Okay. 3 defenders. And 6 attackers. 1, 2, 4. Oh, that just leaves 1 lonely fighter to go home. Okay. And then the dive bombers are going to go after the Yorktown. And I am going to say, I tell you what, I'm going to use this guy to defend and the Yorktown to defend against the dive bombers. So they're going to screen. So 3. Yorktown has 3. That's a 6. And 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1-to-1 odds. Okay, 1-to-1, and we roll a 1. One hit, lose 2 squadrons. Okay. 1 and 2. There's our 2 dive bombers we've lost. And the Yorktown takes a hit. Increase. Okay. So the dive bombers have done their thing. And basically, the Yorktown's defended and the Vincennes have defended. So now I'm going to say the Astoria is going to go, and it's going to screen against this T7. But the T7's attacking the Yorktown, so that's going to be, this Yorktown's going to take the damage, but the Astoria is going to screen. So this is going to be 7 to 4, because this counts as 1. So it's going to be 1-to-1 odds. And we roll a 2. 1 hit, lose 2 squadrons. Okay. Decrease. And decrease. Okay. And then the Yorktown takes another hit. And where's our hit record? Decreases. Whoops. Increase. Increase. Okay, and the Vincennes is already defended, so it's now going to be 3-to-1 odds. We get a 3 at 3-to-1. 3 hits, lose 3 squadrons. Okay. So these guys are now gone. And the Vincennes took 3 hits. Increase, increase, increase. Okay. And that's it for that turn. Or that battle of that turn. Okay. Fighter goes. We'll put these fighters back on the Yorktown. Okay. And then these guys will go back here. Not a good. That was not successful either. They did some damage, but they didn't knock it out. Okay, then we've finally got the Hornet, and it's got the Portland, the Pensacola, and the New Orleans with it. So, okay, does the Hornet have any? The Hornet does have some fighters. Okay, and we'll move these guys over. This is a nice procedural game. I love procedural games. I know that's not probably the most exciting, but particularly for making videos. Okay, so they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically 1-to-1 odds. Let's do the fighter combat first. We'll just get these out of the way. 3. 1-to-1, 1, 2, 3. Lose 5 defenders, lose 5 attackers. Okay, that's it for all these fighters. And then 3, 4, 5, and we got rid of these guys. And we can pull these off to the side. Okay, and then we can figure out how we're going to do this. We could have, if we would have had more fighters defending, we would have wanted to probably save those and add them to the defense of the ships, but since we didn't have any excess of Navy fighters, I thought, well, let's just get those out of the way. Okay, how are we gonna? We want to try to sink the Hornet. Let's just do it again. And then I'm going to keep 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, how do we want to defend against these? So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 3. I want to keep the odds as close to 1-to-1 as possible. So I will think the Pensacola is going to screen the Hornet. And that will give me 1-to-1 odds, 7 to 6. So 1-to-1 odds. And we'll go ahead and do that. Let's do that. And then we'll screen with the Portland against these torpedoes. Okay. We do the chart, and we do this, and we do 1-to-1 with a 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 hit, lose 3 squadrons. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Let's go ahead and get rid of those guys. And then these guys will be pulled off. And the Hornet takes a hit. Okay, and the Pensacola has screened. Now the Portland is going to screen against these. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be let's see, I don't know whether you include that or not. I'm going to say you include it. So 1. So we'll say 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, it's going to be 1 to 1. And 3. 1 to 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 hit, lose 3 squadrons. Okay. So the Hornet takes a hit. And then we'll see the Pensacola has, now we have 5 to 1, so the Pensacola is automatically sunk at 5 to 1. So we send that to the sunk box, and let's get the search board here. Send that to the sunk box. Okay. These guys fly off. And then the Portland's a screen, so 4 to 1. I got a 4 to 1 attack with a 6. Ooh, that's going to be enough, I think. 4 to 1 with a 6. 6 hits, lose 1 squad. Okay, so we'll decrease these guys by 1, and the Portland is sent to the sunk box, I think. It's 6 hits, I think, is enough for it. Portland. Yeah, it only has 4. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we send the Portland to the bottom. And let's go with our search board. Where are you at, search board? And then these guys fly off. Finally, we've got 1, 2, 3. We have 1 to 1. And we roll a 4 at 1 to 1. Lose 4 squads and take a hit. So the New Orleans takes a hit, but we lose our squads. And then we have another 1 to 1, and we roll a 3. 1 to 1, 3. 1 hit, lose 3 squads. So again, we lose another more torpedo boats, or torpedo planes, and the New Orleans has lost 2 total. Increase, increase. Okay. And that is it. The Hornet and the New Orleans are the survivors of that battle. And we can take these guys and move them down here. Now, we didn't lose any carriers, which makes this record keeping a little easier. So we can fly planes back home. Let's fly these U.S. planes back home first. Okay, there's the Midway complement. Get this out of the way. And they could go to any of these 3, so I'm gonna distribute them fairly evenly. Actually, the Enterprise won't, but the Hornet and the Yorktown. Get over here. There, that's easier. 3 and 7. Okay, and then this really does reflect the planes pretty well. So your dive bombers are surviving a lot better than the torpedo did. Okay, 6 and 6 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. So they all fly home. Okay. Then let's get our Japanese carriers. Okay, and we got the Soryu, the Kaga, and the Akagi. Oh, and the Hiryus, yeah. Okay. So going back to the Soryu, or these guys, they're going to limp home. And T3, they lost about half of their complement. The Kaga is going to take this T5. There's our Ds. And a single fighter. There's 1-0 left there. The Akagi. Man, the Akagi is really in trouble there. these guys could fly down here. I'm going to fly a majority of these guys down to the Suzuya. Or not the Suzuya, the Hiryu. 1, 2, 5. Let's see how many just go. 6, 7. Okay, and then the D's. 4. Okay, then the rest will go to the Akagi. And I've sent everybody home. Now, everybody gets to know where everybody's at because we've flown from all these, except for the, well, no, we found the Enterprise, so we know where the U.S. is. Let's see, however, this CABB stack. Okay, let's get one more. Okay, we knew where these guys are, and that's a... So let's clone some more. Let's see, CACBCL, okay. Clone. Increase, and then we're going to clone, increase, okay, and then the Akaga is just a lonely CV here. Get those over to the side, and then we found also this guy down here, we know BBCACB, okay. Okay. And that was down in 7D, 7F. Okay, that is it. We've finally done all the record keeping. We know where these guys are. And we have made it through, basically sank a lot of screening boats, but we have not sunk a carrier yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next turn. Okay, we're moving into the next round here. And we'll start with the Japanese, moving them. Move this up a little bit. Let's see what we want to do. We want to try to begin moving towards Midway and try again to clear out the American carriers. And hopefully we can stay hidden from them at the same time. Now the carriers can actually move to or the aircraft can move to a zone, even if there's no ship there, an enemy ship, and they can make an attack if they're able to hit one. But I'm going to move these. Let's see. We're going to move him to... I don't want to move... No, I don't want to move that way. I want to move this way. And we're going to move the Akagi over here with this stack. Okay, and then those two will move there. I think that's going to be... I could try to spread everybody out. I don't know if spreading everybody out is good or bad. So, okay. And then the U.S. will... I'm going to again push it. Hopefully I can push in, and even if I lose my carriers, I can use the ships to take down the Japanese. Okay. Now, let's see our searches. I'm going to search here, 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 and... Do I search here or here? We'll just keep all our searches together. Okay. Japanese. Oh yeah, we figured that the U.S. is going to continue to move forward, so we're just going to do our searches here. Oh wait, hold on. Hold the phones. Okay. The U.S. Let's move these guys back. What I'm going to do as a strategy for the U.S. Navy is I'm going to pull back, because if I can draw the Japanese towards Midway, I can use Midway's planes to bring down Japanese ships. So we're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and pull back. And I will say that the Japanese are going to go, and they're going to think that the U.S. is going to keep moving forward. Okay, there we go. Okay, so they do the search. The Japanese do the search into column C, and nobody's there, so they don't discover any. So we'll move these over to the side. And then column B, B4. So with B4, I know we have a BBC, but this guy is here. B4 there. And we'll move these searches aside. And then this stack here we find. And they're right in the middle. And that's these guys, I think. And then down here, we find these guys. Okay. Oh, I've got a cat here that wants in my lap while I'm doing this. He's just going to go to sleep. Okay, I think what we can do... Now, I'm going to say, since I'm playing solo here, I'm not going to allow the Japanese to fly aircraft off and try to find them. I'll just say that they can't make the attack. But I think we can go ahead and move. Let's see, the Enterprise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the Astoria. And I'm going to concentrate all of my attacks on this stack here. So let's pull up our carrier complement. And let's just close this. Let's see here, carrier complement. Come on back here. Man, keeping these windows, this is crazy. Okay. Carrier complement. Let's see. So we have the carrier complement. This is going to be these three, and we're flying from the... That's the Enterprise. So we will take the Enterprise here, and we can go ahead and, since we're... I'm going to leave the fighters at home. I'm going to just assume that we're going to prepare for a Japanese attack. Okay, and then the Hornet's going to fly in their guys. And let's fly 5 there. And then the Yorktown will fly in their guys. And we will leave 2 here. Okay. And that's going to be the only attack this round, or turn. So, let's see. So we know it's the Haruna, Soryu, and Kamano. Okay, pull up our battle board. Okay, let's find the Haruna, Soryu, and it's right here, the Kamano, and the Soryu. Okay, and then we will move our aircraft here. Just move them all over here. Okay, and let's pull the fighters aside. And then the Japanese with the Soryu's fighters, they've got 4 fighter units, so it'll be 1-to-1 odds for the fighters. And then we are going to hit the Soryu hard here. I'm going to hit it with 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh man, this should pretty much destroy these 3. I'll pull 2 here. We'll pull 2 here. And I'll pull 3. 3. Okay, and then the rest of these guys will just pile up, okay, on the Soryu. Okay, so first of all, let's do the fighter-to-fighter combat. And the attackers have 7. The defenders have 4. Pull this, and we roll. And we get a 2. Okay, so 1-to-1 odds with a 2. Lose 4 defenders, lose 4 attackers. Oh, come back here. Okay. And then everybody's going to defend the Soryu. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the attackers have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. 1-to-1 odds. And we get a 3 with 1-to-1. We'll check our chart here. 1-to-1 with a 3 is 1 hit, lose 3 squadron. Okay. So we'll pull 3 off here. And the Soryu is going to take a hit. Oh, come back here, guys. I guess we're going to have to pull them all separately. Okay, and then the Soryu, we go to our hit record. And the Soryu takes a hit. I think what we're going to do, the Soryu is going to stay afloat, but they're going to end up losing their compatriots here. We now have 6-to-1, so that sinks this guy, and 6-to-1, that sinks this guy. We probably could have done a better job of moving those Japanese units around. So I ended up sinking the... the Haruna and the Kamano. So we need to sink those guys because it's better than 6-to-1. Record, the Haruna. Oh wow, that was a. Guess it was a battleship. So, and Kamano. Okay, there we go. And then we can get these guys out and sink and sink. Okay, and that is going to be it. And we'll move these aside. And so the Soryu is now left on its own out here. Let's pull up our search board. Send to sink, and the Soryu is left. Okay. Excuse me. Now we need to move our planes back. So we're going to pull our Midway carrier complement and our battle board. And we will send our planes back to their respective ships. And that's probably one of the downsides to this game. I think the game is kind of cool, but a couple bad die rolls, particularly early on, pretty much changed the game. I guess that's pretty historically accurate. So we'll move our fighters here. There was no Japanese attack, but the Americans stayed prepared. And that's, I think, going to be it for the turn. So we can move some of these extraneous windows off. We move our time record to 1700 as we've played that turn. And now we have night turns. And during night turns, you can search, you can move, but you can't attack. So we'll go ahead and move our Japanese units, and they're going to move forward. I think what we'll do, we'll move him here, and we will move the Soryu in with this guy. We'll move him here, and we'll move him here. And then the Americans will move here, here, and here. Again, we're trying to move within 7 boxes of Midway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we can get the Japanese moved there, we'll be great. I think that'll pretty much end Japanese dominion. Okay, now then, searches. And let's see. We did searches here. Let's go ahead and search here, here, and here. And so we're in E, and we find that the Americans are going to be in E4. And I'm just going to put one single marker there since I'm playing solitaire. And I want to keep the game moving a little bit. We'll just put markers here for now for just these night search things. And then we have one down here. So we did find the fleet. Okay. And then, where are they going to search? We'll say they're going to search. We're going to assume the Japanese are moving forward. So we will search here, 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 and here. And those are C. And we find that, yeah, these guys have moved here. They've moved here. And they've moved here. And that will be the night turn. Let's get our time record. Increase. Okay, second night turn. Again, we'll move 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, where are we going to search? We'll stay in this one, we'll stay in this one, and we'll stay in these same ones. And then the Japanese will search here, here, and here. And let's see, that's F4. So we determined that this guy moves here, this guy moves here, and this guy moves here. Basically, we know where everybody's moving. And if you were a better player, you'd be a lot sneakier. Okay. And I think that's going to be everybody. And this brings us to the morning of June the 4th, when the actual battle occurred. This, I guess in our game, the battle is occurring a little early. So we will start the 0500 turn here. Okay, we're at the 0500 turn on the 4th. And in this turn, the Japanese will bring in some more units. So I'm going to bring them in down here so they have the fastest trip to Midway. And I got another carrier here. It's not much, but it'll help. Okay, so the Japanese will go ahead and go. We'll push forward. 1, 2, 1, 2, and actually, let's spread these guys out just a little bit. 1, 2. Let's go here. Okay. And then for searching, I'm going to think these guys. I'm going to still stay in the same areas here. Okay. Now then the U.S. Navy will go. And again, we're going to pull back. Two and 1, 2. Okay. And where are we going to search? I think we'll search here, 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 and here. And maybe we can make another strike on the Japanese. Okay. So let's see. The searching gives us F. Okay, so this one we found, and it's a CACACV. Okay. CACACV. And then nothing in this area. And then down here, we found both of those. Okay. And that's going to be a CACACV. Let's see, right here. CA and a CV, and then a CA and CV. Okay, down here with the Hornet. Okay, how about the U.S.? They're going into D, and they're going to find all the Japanese, pretty much. So here we have a D4 CACLCV. Increase, increase, okay. Move this aside. And then this area we found these guys, and this is only a CV. Oh, the Akagi and Kaga are together. Okay, well, that was a major mistake that I made there. I just did that offhand and should not have done that. Okay, and then down here, CVBBCA. Okay. And those guys are here. Oh, and then these guys needed to move. 2, 2, and 2. Okay, the Japanese. I'm going to say this one looks like, down here, looks like the most vulnerable. So, oh, are we within 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll have the Soryu attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I think the Soryu and the Kaga will attack here. And then the Akagi and the Hiryu will attack down here. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 7. Okay. So we need to bring our carrier complements up. And the Soryu has this guy. And this guy. And let's see. The Kaga has this guy. And we will keep him here, and these guys, and then the Akagi has this guy, and this guy, and then finally down here, the Hiryu has these guys, and we will keep, and these guys, and we will keep the fighters back on their, based around to their carriers to protect them. Okay, and then the Yorktown. Well, I'm going to go after both of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're going to do that. So the carrier complement for the again, I'll keep the fighters. Yeah, I think I'm going to go after the Kaga and the... Let's see, this has got the Hornet. So the Hornet's going to go after this one. We'll send our fighters. We're going to send everything we've got after them. And then here's this Yorktown. Yep, Yorktown. Okay. And the Enterprise... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's within range of the Enterprise. So let's send the Enterprise at him too. And we will keep that. Okay, there we go. We've sent everybody around. Let's just go after the Kaga and the Akagi first. Pull up our battle board. And we need to put the Akagi out and the Kaga. So that was a terrible mistake we made. That was stupid. Stupid. Okay, Kaga and the Akagi. We got fighters. And then does the Akagi and the Kaga. Okay, they've got 4 and 1. Okay. So that's it for the fighters. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I get a D? Okay, they're fine. That will pretty much sink the Akagi. And I'll put these guys here. Okay. So let's start with the fighter battle. There's going to be 3, 4, 5 to 5. So it's 1-to-1 odds for the fighters. And let's flip this over and we roll. Move this down. And we get a 6. Okay, a 6 at 1-to-1, lose 3 defenders, lose 6 attackers. So we'll just decrease this by 1, 2, and we will delete this. Unfortunately, this fighter is going to probably be gone because, and these guys are gone. These battleships are toast. Okay. We've got a 3, and then 6, 12, 13, 14 to 3. So 4-to-1 odds, and we get a 1 at 4-to-1. 3 hits, lose 3 squadrons. Okay. Decrease, decrease, decrease. Okay, and then these guys go home. And I said what? Was that... how many hits was that? That was a 1 at 4-to-1. 3 hits. Okay, so 3 hits on the Kaga. Increase, increase, increase. Oh, wow. Okay, it's still floating. And then we're going to do this, and this is a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to 3. Wait, is that 11 or 12? 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 11 to 3, so 3-to-1 odds. We roll a 3. 3 hits, 3 squadrons. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to delete these guys. And then the Akagi takes 3 hits, which it only had 1 left, so it's sunk. So we send a sunk box. We can move these guys aside. And let's go to our search board. Come on. And we can send a sunk box. Okay. And then we've got a 2-to-1 odds. And at 2-to-1, we roll a 4. Let's check the chart out. 2-to-1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 hits, lose 4 squadrons. So these guys are gone. And I think the Kagi's gone. Let's see. The Kaga is 3 hits. Yeah, that was just, they had 1, so it's sunk. Okay, that is going to be crucial to the Japanese forces. And we go back to our search board, and get rid of that. Okay, send to sunk box. And that is the end of that round. Now let's send everybody back to their carriers. And who's under attack? Down here, these 2 are... We're going to send them up to those north carriers to kind of keep them protected as much as we can. So I think that's the Enterprise up there. Is that the Enterprise? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to send as many of these planes back up to the Enterprise. Carrier Midway complement and our battle board. And we can hold 12. Okay, so 6, 12, and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these fighters have to go. And then we'll send Yorktown, Hornet. Okay, there we go. And then the Kagi and Kaga's complements. The Kaga and the Kagi. Okay, those are now empty. Okay, now the Japanese can go. And they're going to be fighting these guys against the Yorktown. Yeah, the Yorktown. The Yorktown, Astoria, and Vincennes. So we'll move those guys onto the battle board. And then we'll move the planes onto the battle board. Okay. Now, does the Yorktown have any... Okay, the Yorktown does not have any fighters. So these guys are free to go. I think I'm going to try to use the 3-to-1 against the Astoria. We're going to use the 5-to-1 here. That should sink the Vincennes. And then we'll use the rest here. I'm going to say each ship's going to defend themselves. So the Yorktown screens with 3, and they're against a 4, 7, 8, 9. So 3-to-1. We roll a... What do we roll here? A 5. Okay, 5 at 3-to-1. 4 hits, lose 2 squadrons. Okay. So we'll take off our 2 squadrons first. Delete. And delete, and the Yorktown's toast. Increase, increase, and that pretty much eliminates the Yorktown. She goes sunk, and sunk. Okay, and then we've got a 1-to-1 odds here. We roll a 5 at 1-to-1. 5 at 1-to-1 is a 2 hits, lose 4 squadrons. Okay. So decrease these down to 1. And what did I say for hits? A 5? I think I said 2 hits. Yeah. 2 hits on the Vincennes. Okay, hit record on the Vincennes. That's enough to sink the Vincennes. So everybody's starting to go down. Send to sunk box, and we will send to sunk box. Finally, the Astoria. 1-to-1 odds. We roll a 2. 1 hit, 2 squadrons. Okay. And a hit against the Astoria. Okay, so the Astoria goes back, and then we're going to put these guys back on the board here. We'll see where we can go home to in just a little bit. Okay, and the carrier complement for the Yorktown. Let's see, Yorktown's carrier complement. These guys are gone because they have no place else to go. Okay, then we go here. And this is the third battle of the turn. Come on. New Orleans and the Hornet. Come on. So the Hornet and the New Orleans. They're being attacked. This will probably put them in the watery grave. Does the Hornet have anybody? Nope, they don't have any fighters. Okay, we're going to hit that 3, 6, and we'll hit that. Okay, 4, 5, and then the rest of them will go against the New Orleans. Okay, we'll start with, I think we need to try to keep the, do whatever we can to keep the Hornet afloat, so the New Orleans will screen for it. So that's 6. So 1-to-1 odds against the Hornet. Actually, what we'll do is we can't screen for those guys. Okay, yeah, that's all we can do. 1-to-1 with a 6. 2 hits, lose 3 squadrons. So the Hornet loses 2, which is enough to sink it. And we lose 2 squadrons of dive bombers. So we're going to decrease and decrease. We'll pull those off. We send the Hornet under. And then we have either 1-to-1 or 5-to-1. So that'll automatically sink the New Orleans. And those guys go here. Those guys go here. We can send both of those to the sunk box. Wow, it's going to be hard to tell who's going to stay around. So the Hornet is now gone. And we can put that. We can put our hit record here. The Hornet and the New Orleans is gone. Increase, increase, increase. Now it just leaves the Minneapolis, Northampton, Enterprise, and Astoria. I don't know what happened to the Pensacola. I think I forgot to sink the Pensacola here, somewhere along the lines. Increase, increase, and increase, and then we should have 4 ships left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Now going back to their carrier. Who's in range? Okay, so they went from down here. They could go to the Hiryu. Let's fill the Hiryu up first. 3, 4, 5, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Soryu, okay, they can make it back to the Soryu. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They cannot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can. I go back and forth. So let's put these guys back on the Soryu. And, oops, not those guys. These guys. Oh, we got 1 dive bomber, 2 dive bombers that have to be deleted. There's no more room for them. So they lost 2 more. And we can... Okay. And I think that's the end of turn. Let's get rid of that. Time record is now 0500 is increased. And that leaves us to move into the 0700 turn. So as we go into the 0700 turn, we have the Japanese left with 2 carriers to the Americans 1 carrier. The issue that we're going to run into is that Midway will still be able to function kind of as a carrier, so it can finish off a lot of these Japanese ships. We could wait for the complement to come in, but that would let the U.S. get their carriers away, the 1 final carrier. I think what we'll do, let's close out some stuff here. As the Japanese player, we are going to wait. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The issue is here's this is going to be the middle of E here. So we're going to go 1, 2. I'm going to move here and here. And then these guys will move up. And where are we going to search? I think we're going to search here on Koryu and here. Okay, let's say the Astoria. I think the Astoria is probably going to have to get with these guys. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And we will search 1, 2, 3, and where's the other search? Okay, 4. Okay, so E. We find these guys have moved here, and let's see, these are guys have, that's it, okay. We can pull these guys aside. And then searching here, we found the Astoria. Where's our third? I think I lost my third search one. I'll just say the search was down here. 1, 2, excuse me. So the Astoria is here, and then we didn't find the others. I'm going to say we had search here, search here, search here. So, okay, everybody's moved here. Everybody's moved here. Oh, we got to see what the search is for E. Oh, we found E. There we go. Okay. Search, 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 and search. Okay. Well, definitely this guy is open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. And then the Soryu is here, Midway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So the Soryu is going to launch an attack against the Astoria. Let's pull up our carrier complement. And the Soryu is going to have these guys and these guys. The Hiryu is out of range. Okay, let's go to the battle board. Oh, these guys, what happened to them? I think these guys are gone. I don't know. Okay, this is the problem about playing solitaire. Sometimes you kind of lose track of where you're at. Plus, I have to do other stuff like go do the laundry. I'm sure you guys all will have to do that. You're getting right in the middle of a game, but life intrudes. So I'm kind of doing stuff between turns. Feed the cats, all that good stuff. Okay. We'll start with the 7 to 3. So 2-1 odds against the Astoria. We roll, and let's pull up our chart. 2-1, and we roll a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 hits, lose 4 squadrons. Okay. Pretty easy. We delete these guys. And then we have 2 hits against the Astoria. Increase. It doesn't sink her yet. And then we have these guys here, these 2-1 odds. We roll a 6 at 2-1. 2-1. 3 hits, 3 squadrons. Okay, so we lost these guys. And the Astoria takes 3 hits, which is more than enough to sink her. And we send a sunk box, and we can return this to the Soryu. Or was that the Soryu? The Hiryu. It was the Hiryu. No? Yep, it was the Soryu. Oh man, the Soryu is kind of low. So there's just these. The Japanese have pretty much exhausted those guys. The Astoria is gone, and the Astoria is gone here. Okay. The Enterprise. I forgot to make the Enterprise do an attack. We'll go ahead and do it. I think the Enterprise will go ahead and attack. No, I think the Enterprise will hold still. I think they'll hold for the turn. I think we'll wait for them to come into the Midway zone and then attack. Okay. That's it for the turn. And we go to the next turn. The Japanese will... they've really got to move against Midway. So we'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we'll go here and here. 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And where will we search? We'll search here. We'll search here. And we will search here. In those three. Okay, what are the... let's go ahead and... 2 and... Where are we going to search? Let's see, we'll search here, 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 and here. And we find the Suzuya down here, CA. Okay, these guys are going to be down here that we found. Move that aside, and then this group will be here. So we're able to pretty much track everybody doing something now. The Japanese are in Midway, so they find CACACV. Okay. Move those search markers aside. Three, 6, 7, 8. Okay, nobody is in range here. And likewise, no one's in range here. So that's it for the turn. Increase. And if we can kind of keep the Japanese guessing and delay, then that's going to give us more points. So, okay, we've moved our turn. Let's go clear our moves, and the Japanese will again go 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And they will search here, here, and here. And we will say we're going to move 1, 2 here. Where were the... Okay. Where are we going to search? We'll search here. We'll search here. We'll search here. And we will search here. And so we find these guys moving here. We find this group moving here. Search, search, and search, and search. And then these guys... We'll find these guys are down here now. Okay. Midway 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, these guys move into range. So the Hiryu, the Kirishima, and the Suzuya are in range. So the Hiryu and here, and here, and then the Midway complement will move. And come on, get over here. Okay, the Hiryu. Does the Hiryu have anybody left as a fighter? Not sure where these guys are coming from. Okay. Here's what the Hiryu has left, which they will play. I think these guys are up with the... What was the other one? The Soryu. Okay. Carrier complement. The Soryu had these guys left. Oh, and our one carrier left, that's the Enterprise. They're going to attack too. Get over there. Let's get this. I'm having some issues here. So they will attack. This will be kind of a big battle here for these three. The Japanese have one fighter. The Americans have these. They got a lot of fighters. Oh my gosh, they're going to clean up. Okay, how are the Americans going to... Let's do the fighter part first. Well, hold on. Let's do something different here. Nope. These guys are the attackers. Okay, so that's pretty much a forgiven, but let's go ahead and roll it anyway. Search board screen, fighters. Attacks odds greater than 3-1, all loss with no loss attacking fighters. So we can just go ahead and delete that guy. The Japanese... Now, I'm not sure why I have my Japanese guys there. That doesn't really make any sense. That's okay. Let's see. The American attack against the Hiryu is going to be a 6 and a 12. And then these guys are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2. And this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to say that the Kirishima is going to defend. They're going to screen for themselves. This leaves... And the Suzuya, they're going to lose it anyway on those guys, probably. I'm going to sacrifice the Suzuya, and I'm going to make this a 5. A 2 plus a 3, a 5 to a 6, 12, 13 to 5. So 2-to-1... 2-to-1 odds. Charts. Let's flip it over. We got a die roll of a... I think it's a... Let's see, where's our die roll? I think it's a 6 up here. Yeah, it's a 6. Okay. We had a 2-to-1 with a 6. 3 hits, lose 3 squadrons. Okay. Battle board, where are you? Here we go. So let's take our 3 squadrons. There's 1, and then let's lose 2. Decrease, decrease. And then our hits were 3 hits. Okay, Hiryu loses 3. Which is enough to sink it. Okay. Send to sunk box, and... Okay, there we go. Okay, the battle board for the Kirishima. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fight with these two first. And now I'm going to fight with these two first. And so this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 5, 1-to-1 odds. I roll a 5. 2 hits, lose 4 squadrons. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will delete those guys. And the Kirishima takes 2 hits. It's a battleship, I guess. So, makes sense. Okay, 2-to-1 odds. And we roll a 3 with 2-to-1 odds. 3 squadrons, 1 hit. Okay, Kirishima takes another hit. And we lose 3 squadrons. This guy's lost. And this guy's lost. Okay, and then finally, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 2, 2-to-1 odds. We rolled a 1. 2-to-1, 1 hit, 2 squadrons. And the Suzuya takes a hit. And the Suzuya here takes a hit. Okay, so now we can move everybody back to their respective places. I think we'll move these guys to Midway. That's really the safest place for them. So they can take 6 fighters, 4, 5, 6. And they can take 2 of these guys. And they can take those, and then the Enterprise is our remaining ship, our remaining carrier. And so we'll put those guys here, 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 and here. That's fine, that's all we know about. So we can move these guys aside, and these fighters, or these can go back to, well, I forget what ship they were based on. That was a problem. I should have put those guys back. We know the Hiryu sank. I'm going to just split them in 2. The Soryu's the only one, so we'll say, I guess there's nothing there because I will move them to the Soryu. 3, 7, 6, 7, and you really can't do this. Is breaking the rules here, so. There's a fighter there. Oh, there's his fighter. 7 and 4. 5, 6, 7. This is giving the Japanese a little bit of an unfair advantage, but we'll roll with it. We'll get rid of these because we'll say they were with the Hiryu. That's going to be end of round. We go to the 1300 round. And pull up the Japanese battle board. Okay. We will move out of the range. Move these guys. 2 and 2, and this carrier is going to move backwards. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're out of range. And, oh, we need to search. Okay, searching. I don't know why I moved this guy. I am losing it. Okay, we'll search here, here, and here. And then we'll say this guy moves here. And he searches 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, who do we find? Let's see. Americans are in F. We're in E. We searched E6. Okay, E6, nothing there. Actually, I think they didn't find anything. The Americans didn't find a thing. And the Japanese didn't find anything. So that is pretty much going to be it for that turn. We can go to the next turn. Japanese will 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. And the Americans will move 2. Okay. Where are the Japanese searching? I'm going to say we didn't find anybody there, so we're going to try here, here, and here. And they didn't find anybody with those searches, so they will try here, here. We'll just check the line here on F. Okay. They don't find anybody. And the Japanese find this guy back here. Hiding. Okay. Nobody there. And that's the end of that turn. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 2. Now we're going to steam in. The Americans are going to still be hiding here. And we'll search those again. Japanese will search here again. And then who will find what? So Japanese will find these guys down here hiding. And they're going to see this big old fleet. The Americans are going to see a big old fleet coming here. Whoop. Let's go here. Okay. So in F, they find, I guess, these guys. A CB, a CA, and a CL. Okay. And then down here we find a CA and a BB. Get rid of these guys. Okay. So the Soryu is going to go ahead and try to sink the Enterprise. Okay. Carrier complement. We'll move that here. We'll move this Soryu here. And we'll keep our fighter. And then nothing there. Okay. The Midway one will go ahead, and the Midway contingent will try to sink the Soryu. So we'll just try here, and here, here. We'll send the fighters over here, and we will send this here and here. Okay. Let's start with the attack against the Enterprise. We go to the battle board, and we start with these 3 ships. The American fighters are here. Okay. There's no Japanese fighters, so the American fighters can now defend. So we're going to place a defense here, here, and here. Dive bombers will go. I'm going to spread everybody out. Attrition is my friend. 1. Okay, there's 4, 5. Okay. which combat do we want to start with first? Let's go ahead and start with the Enterprise, and there's 3 plus the 7. Okay, 4, 5, 6. There's 3. It's 7, 8, 9. So the Enterprise defends with 9, and it's 3 to 9. So 1 to 3 odds. We roll, and we get a 4. 1 to 3 with a 4. A miss, and we lose 4 squadrons. So the Japanese lose these guys. We can pull our fighters aside. Okay, then we've got 2 to 1 odds. And I think Minneapolis will continue to try to defend. So 3 to 4. So 2 to 4, 1 to 2 odds now, because Minneapolis has helped to defend the Enterprise. We roll a 5. 1 to 2, 5. 1 hit, lose 3 squadrons. Okay. Delete and delete. And then the Enterprise is going to take a hit. Enterprise is in surprisingly good shape here. Okay, then the Minneapolis, then the dive bombers go 3 to 1 on the Minneapolis. 3 to 1 with a 4. 3 hits, lose 2 squadrons. So we will decrease. And I think the Minneapolis is sunk. 4 hits. Increase. The Minneapolis is hanging on. Okay. We go with a 5 to 3. That's probably what. Yeah, I'm gonna the Northampton's gonna do with the 3. So 1 to 1 on the Northampton from the torpedo bombers. A 4. A 1 to 1 with a 4 is 1 hit, lose 4 squadrons. Okay. And the Northampton loses a. Okay, and then finally we have 1 to 1 odds again. A 3. 1 hit, lose 3 squadrons. So the Northampton will take another hit, and that will sink the Northampton. Okay. Pull these aside. The Japanese will we'll send these back to the Soryu. There are some carriers. There's another couple carriers coming in, but they come in pretty late. So, okay, now they attack on the Soryu. We're going to pull our fighter out. A lot of planes coming in here. And let's see, these 3 were the Soryu, the Nagara, and the Megami. Okay. Fighters. A ton of American fighters come in. And then we'll go ahead and play that one out. That should just pretty much eliminate the fighters. Let's see. So fighters attacking at odds greater than 3 or 1 are all lost. Let's see. Fighters attacking at worse than 3 to 1. Okay, so they are... Basically, we just eliminate this guy. Then we can attack 2 dive bombers here. 6, 7, 1, 2, and 1, and we're going to hit the Soryu as hard as we can. So I'm going to say that these 2 ships will screen. So there's 3, 6, and the Americans are attacking with 11, so 1 to 1 odds. They get a 4. 1 to 1 odds with a 4 are lose 4 squadrons, and takes 1 hit. So the Soryu takes a hit. And that's enough to sink it. And then the Americans lose 4 squadrons. Pull these guys aside. Okay, and then so 2-to-1 odds. With a 2, 2-to-1 and a 2 is 1 hit, lose 3 squadrons against the Nagara. Delete and delete. Let's see how the Nagara is doing on hits. Okay, still going. And then finally a 1-to-1 on the Mogami. Die roll of 3. 1-to-1 with the 3. 1 hit, lose 3 squadrons. Okay, this guy is gone. And the Mogami takes a hit. Mogami, where are ya? Increase. That is it. Wait, the Soryu sank, didn't it? Let's see, I just saw that. The Soryu's gone. Yeah. Forgot to sink it. Send to sunk box. And send to sunk box. Okay, that's it for the major carriers. Okay. Go from our battle board and clean it up a little bit. So go to our American carrier complements. And we will send all these guys back to Midway. There's a 6 and 2 more fighters. I think all the torpedo bombers are gone. How many fighters do we have? 6? 5. 6 and... Oh, the Enterprise is still available. That's right. Okay, they've got a fighter and D1. So... Okay, torpedo bombers are gone. That ends, I think that's going to be it for the turn. And we forgot to bring on these guys. So we will put those guys back on. 1, 2, 2, and 2. These guys are not going to be able to do a lot. I don't think they're going to make it there in time. Okay, 2 night turns. Japanese night turn. We'll say this guy goes 1, 2, and the Japanese will keep storming in. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. I'm not going to bother with the search on this turn. We go with that's a night turn. We'll do our other night turn here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay. And then this guy will go here. He'll sneak around here. And that brings us to 0500 on the 5th. Okay, we're now at 0500 on the 5th. So now at this point, for every turn that the American controls Midway, they get 1 victory point. So the Japanese now have the imperative to getting Midway captured as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead and pull up the search board for the Japanese. And what we're going to have to try to do is bomb Midway first of all. Now I still have another carrier in here. Hiding in here is... where's she at? Where's you at? The Zuiho. So we will try to start bombing Midway with the Zuiho. And we will try to move our battleships into place because they'll need to be there. And they can start to bomb Midway in the next turn. Then these guys will move to the Otago. We'll move 1 here. And then searching doesn't really, I'm not really going to be chasing after the carrier anymore. So we'll go ahead and search though. And we'll just keep our little search areas here, here, and here. And the American player is going to search here, 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 and here. Let's move these guys over. I've only got 2 ships left. I could try to attack directly with these 2 ships, but I think they'll just get creamed. So we'll send the Enterprise after. Basically, we know everybody is in this pretty much this area right here. Let's just go ahead and I'm just going to put 1 again. I'll just put 1 symbol here. And we would be able to find the carrier. Let's see, the light carrier here, the Zuiho. I'm going to defend against the carrier complements here. The Soryu's gone, isn't it? I think I sunk the Soryu. Yep, the Soryu's gone. Delete and delete. So the Zuiho is going to fly against Midway. And I'm going to use the Enterprise and Midway. I'm going to use these guys to defend. I'll use the Enterprise to go ahead and try to sink the Zuiho. So we will go with the whole complement of the... Wow, this is a lot of ships. Okay. Yeah, let's try to take some battleships out. The Kirishima, the Suzuya, the Kongo, and the Heii. Let's try that one more time here. The Hiei. Well, my Japanese pronunciation for taking 6 years of Japanese lessons, I cannot pronounce it worth crap anymore. The Hiei. Let's start with that one. The Suzuya was in there. And then we have the Kirishima and the Kongo. Okay, Kirishima and the Kongo. Kirishima and the Kongo. Basically, we're just trying to bring some ships down at this point. Kirishima, we will... I'm going to move these guys forward. We'll just do this where we're in the center of these guys. And... Okay. Enterprise with their... We'll do the Enterprise attack first. And we will fly here against this guy and here against this guy. So 1-to-1 odds here. Actually, this is... Man, this is going to be a problem. Okay. Okay, 1-to-5. We can't attack there, I think, because our odds are too far off. So ships attacking at 1-to-3, planes attacking at worse than 1-to-3 automatically lost and score no hits. So this guy is actually deleted. And then 6-to-5, 1-to-1. We get a die roll of a 2. And it charts 1 to 1 to 1 hit, lose 2 squadrons. Okay. Decrease and decrease. And then the Congo takes a hit, which is a battleship taking a hit. Congo, hit record. Increase, okay. I am not figuring out what the Americans can really do here other than just kind of try to keep going. Okay, and then the carrier complement is we're gonna fly this guy back to Midway. And those ships are gonna stay in place. Now, we can hold a total of 30 squads here. So we can move this guy here. And we can try to hold Midway. Basically, we're just going to attack to Midway. Okay. And then let's... okay, to make a Midway attack, I can start with the fighters. And I'm going to pull... Now, I'm not quite sure whether you do the fighters, are they going to attack other fighters, or are they going to attack Midway? I think we're just going to make this one big attack. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points against Midway, which now has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 15. So 35. 8 to 35. Okay. And Midway reduction table. I'm going to say it's 1 to 3 odds or less. I'm not sure. That's one thing I'm not quite sure on how you handle. I guess we'll say, because those are going to be more like 1 to 5, but we'll just go with the 1 to 3. I don't see any other way around it. So we'll roll a 4. And so there's a loss of 3 units on Midway. And I'm going to take those out of the delete. Otherwise, I think if you went with odds, if you didn't allow odds less than 1 to 3, I don't think there'd be any way to reduce Midway here. You could bring the battleships in, but I don't see that as tangible. Okay. That's the end of turn, and I'm going to leave everybody here because they're going to continue to attack Midway. Basically, the Minneapolis and Enterprise have been left useless. Now, you can move these guys off. I think I'll do that. 1, 2, and 1, 2. This is next turn. Let's go. Let's move to the next turn. Increase, and then I'm also going to remember that this is point 2. I'm going to go ahead and put an add operations in here, and we are just going to put a little X. Add operations X, okay. That means I've had turn 1, add operations XX, turn 2. So we'll make sure we get our points. Okay, next turn, everybody's going to stay pretty much where they're at, except the battleships. Go our Japanese search board, and we're going to move our battleship here. We're going to move a battleship here. We're going to move a battleship here. Now, the one downside is, as early as this game was developed, 1, 2, 1, 2, it didn't always address some of the rules here. For instance, I'm not sure whether you reduce Midway by 1 point per battleship that's attacking, or for all battleships. I'm going to say per battleship attacking, and also, do you take that out before or after you make your air attack? And again, I'm going to say before. So we lose 3, so Midway automatically takes 3 more hits. And I'm going to take those out of the aircraft, because it's more important to do that than to sink ships right now, is to hold Midway. So we'll take our carrier complement, and we'll lose our 3. delete, delete, delete. Okay, and then we're going to attack. And so we've got 20, and our carrier complement is 4, 8, 9. So it's now 29, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 29. So that's it's going to be 1 to 4 odds, but again, I'm going to go with 1 to 3. And we're going to roll it, and we roll a 5, and they're going to lose 4 more. That makes it easy because I can take this guy off. Okay. And we go to the next turn. Increase. And this will be another point for the Americans. So we're going to give them another X. Add operations X, X, X. Okay. Let's see. Did I go my time record? Increase. Okay, there's our increase on our time record. And this time we again have 3 battleships. We move 2, 2, and 2. Let's see. Can they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now, technically, yeah, that's going to overcome how much the carrier can carry. So we can't move. We have to still wait till we're 7 away. I was thinking we could move, since they were within 14, we could move aircraft here and attack, but then those aircraft would just be kamikazes. Okay. So the battleships go, and they're going to reduce Midway by 3 more. We'll start there. And we'll say decrease, decrease, decrease. Okay, and then we're going to attack with a 8 to 22. And so this point it is actually 1 to 3 odds. And we roll a 5 for 4 points. So this is going to get rid of the last of these guys. Delete, delete, and now we are at 18 points. Okay, Midway's at 18. Americans will get, we go to the next turn. And increase here. Americans will get another point. Let's see here. Okay. And then the battleships will go for 3 more points, so that puts it at 15. So we now have 1 to 2 odds. And we roll 3. 5 points. Okay, so now we are at 10. And we go to next turn. Americans get another point. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Battleships go. So that gets us at 13 points for Midway. Still 1 to 2 odds. And we roll a 3. So that's another 5. So now we're at 8 points on Midway. And we go to the next turn. Americans get another point. Okay. We take 3 off Midway for the battleships. And so that gives us 5 points. So 8 to 5 is another 1 to 1 odds. And we roll a 6, and that eliminates Midway. So Midway is taken. And then we wait till the next turn. The Americans now have lost Midway, so we go here. And at 1700, the Japanese will move on to Midway with the Otago. We wait 4 turns. And increase, 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 increase. And so at 0700, the Japanese will have control of Midway. And that is pretty much the game. Let me do some figuring of the victory points, and I'll be right back. So it takes the Otago 4 turns to take over Midway and land the troops. And during those 4 turns, the U.S. will continue to gain 1 point. So I said there were 6 points here that they had. They'll actually get 4 more. And so that gives them 10 points for their Midway control. The U.S. also sank 54 points worth of ships of the Japanese. And the Japanese were able to take Midway. They get 15 points for the U.S. I guess the U.S. will get a total of 64 points, victory points. The Japanese controlled Midway by the end of the game, so they got 15 points for that. And they sunk 42 victory points worth of ships. So they ended up with a victory point total of 57. So the U.S. was able to achieve victory in this game, 64 to 57. Anyway, that's Midway. I think it's a pretty good game. I think it would be better playing against another person. It's a terrible solitaire game, but it's definitely got a lot of interesting things going for it for playing with person on person. I can see why it was a tournament game. I think for the time it came out that this was kind of ahead of its time. It came out in 1964, and a lot of the other games that Avalon Hill was producing at this time were a lot more primitive than this. If it has any weaknesses, I think the combat results are a little bit wonky. Obviously, they can make the game change really radically, and it's very luck-based at certain points. Of course, that's kind of how the actual Battle of Midway played out. So in that way, I guess it's historically fairly close to what really happened. Anyway, that's what I got this week. Again, I really appreciate you guys listening and hanging with me for all these. I know these videos get kind of long, and hopefully you're skipping over the boring parts where I'm just kind of sitting there moving units around. But thanks again, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.